Welcome to Casey Cares, the voice of Kansas City nonprofits. We share the stories of local nonprofits and the individuals who drive them. At Casey Cares, we connect the nonprofit and the business sectors to enhance the quality of life in Kansas City for both our residents and our visitors. This Casey Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation, www.kauffman.org. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. Art takes so many forms, and one of the most powerful ways we humans express ourselves is through dance. Luckily, Kansas City has an incredible dance scene with professional companies that both inspire and entertain. But one group really stands out, and that's Friends of Alvin Ailey, Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey. This organization doesn't just bring world-class performances to the stage, it brings the spirit of dance right into our community. When the Alvin Ailey Dance Theater first performed in Kansas City, the response was so strong that within just 15 years, Kansas City became the company's second home. That tradition has endured for more than 50 years, remaining faithful to Mr. Ailey's vision of making dance accessible to everyone. Well, today, Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey continues to carry that mission forward, especially with young people. Through dance, they're teaching critical life skills and showing the power of building bridges across cultures and communities. And we're thrilled to get behind the scenes look with two amazing leaders of Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey, CEO Carla Williams Evans and Chief Artistic Officer Tyrone Aiken. Welcome to both of you. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ruth.
Well, Tyrone, I know you've been with the organization for just a hot minute. So I wondered if you would bring our audiences a little richer background in how this begun and how this has built to this point.
Thank you, Ruth. It is a pleasure to be here. And I will say that it is quite serendipitous that Kansas City is the second home for the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater and Ailey 2. That happened for several reasons, but the first being that during a downturn with the National Endowment for the Arts, the touring subsidy was eliminated. That sparked the National Endowment for the Arts, to tell nonprofits, especially New York-based nonprofits, that if you want to survive, you might look at a second home. And so the Alvin Ailey Dance Foundation looked at that as an opportunity. And they explored maybe moving to Los Angeles or moving to Atlanta. But Mr. Ailey fell in love with the people in Kansas City, but also the fact that Kansas City was a jazz root, and he wanted to explore that art form as music. He had an ongoing relationship already with Duke Ellington, and he wanted to expand that relationship in terms of the work that he was doing. So the first work that he created upon his arrival was a piece in tribute to Charlie Parker called For Bird with Love. And that then began sort of this connection that Kansas City formed. He also formed a very dynamic relationship with Alan Gray, our board member and board chair emeritus. And that relationship really helped fuel a lot that was happening between Kansas City and New York. Mr. Ailey's last ballet that he choreographed was for Jay McShann, called Opus McShann, and that was in 1987. And then in 1988, Kansas City, with the vision of Alvin Ailey, created Ailey Camp, which is now a model program in 10 cities across the United States. And it started here in Kansas City in 1989. And that was an opportunity for Alvin to connect to the idea of what it takes to be a dancer for a young person. And he was excited to be a part of this process. And his last public appearance was here in Kansas City at that first Ailey Camp performance in August of 1989. He passed on December 1st of 1989, but he left his personal effects to our board chair at the time, Alan Gray, and they are here in Kansas City at the Black Archives of Mid-America. So we have quite sort of a real birthing of the organization through Mr. Ailey and through those connections with Alan, but also through many of the people and many of the organizations that made Ailey important in Kansas City.
Thank you for that rich background. I don't know that we always appreciate here in Kansas City. We're colloquial. We always say everything's up to date, but really, what a unique thing this was, because everybody always went to the coast, and here we are in the heartland with all this richness and, dare we say, a little less expensive than the coast to do a lot of things. But there was really, I remember this groundswell of civic leaders who got behind this and said, yes, we can be this place and we can set the trend. So kudos to your organization and all the wonderful people that have been behind it to make this happen and continue to make this happen. I don't want to lose sight of, you were saying it was a time when there were funding issues in the arts. Dare we say, here we are again, faced with some of those challenges, and we can get into that in a little bit. But thank you so much. And you've been with the company or with the organization how long now?
I am in my 31st year with the organization, so I'm really excited to have been here for those 31 years. Prior to that, so my relationship with Ailey is really a long one. I started training at the Ailey School in their certificate program in 1981. So I've really had a long connection to the organization, both as a student, as a teacher on faculty in the lower division at the Ailey School, and then also working administratively there before coming here with Ailey Camp in 1991. And so then continuing. So it's been really wonderful to keep that connection. And there are folks like a Sylvia Waters, like a Nasha Thomas, that have spent a huge chunk of their career with the Ailey. So I'm not alone in that kind of space.
That's really fortunate, because I don't know that happens, I would say, regularly with arts organizations. People move on, other opportunities come up, whatever. So I think we're very lucky to have you, all of you, staying. But Carla, you're a little new to the game here, or to this wonderful family. Can you talk a little bit? You joined about a year or so ago. Talk about coming to Ailey and this whole experience of this very unique organization.
Absolutely. So I've been here now 15 months. And I would say that my first year of being the CEO of Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey has been incredible. It's been rewarding and a bit humbling. I stepped into this role just joining an organization that already had this rich legacy and powerful mission that Tyrone just gave us a background on. And it's not really history. It's still, it's still our present. And this last year, I've spent a lot of time listening and learning, collaborating, of course, with our team, our board, our partners, and, the dedication to all of these individuals helped me to just grow and learn a lot more about Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey, the history, the values, and then also the people that we serve.
I think a number of organizations over time have leadership changes. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit what that was like for you to come into a well-oiled machine, so to speak, and as a leader, kind of how you approached that? You had mentioned you did a lot of listening.
Did a lot of listening. And I shared with the team, I did a lot of listening and a lot of watching. And I think from a leader perspective, I don't believe you come into a new organization making changes, not even little changes, until you really understand what it takes to run an organization. Because basically they're all different. And
Mhm.
so I'm just like, if you have multiple children, they're all different. We don't raise them all the same. And so, and so, I would say um, with the change, it was probably an over 1 year of change. So we had a retirement of our previous CEO back in July of 2023, and we had two interim CEOs, and then the transition to me. So I use the analogy as a puzzle, and so it was where are the corners, and so how do we get to the core of what work needs to be done, because we have what was left. What was transition, one piece of puzzle or two pieces of the puzzle, and then you transition to the next piece of puzzle, and then here I come along having to finish the 1,000 piece puzzle. And so that onboarding process really was immersive, and it had to be. So it was a lot of calling on and leaning on Tyrone, also leaning on some of our board members that have been with Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey from the beginning, understanding just where we are and where do we need to go from here. What was my baseline? And so it really took some time to figure out what was the baseline, what were those priorities that really needed to be addressed first. And I've been in leadership for some time, and so it is coming in with a fresh view on the organization it's really key, and that is really the benefit of coming in and coming in new. You're able to see things that people who have been around for a long time see it, but it may not be as front of mind as it would for somebody to come in new. My background actually is not. I did not grow up in the arts. The type of arts that Tyrone has grown up in, with the dance and the experience with Alvin Ailey. I say my arts come in math. I think math is an art, and dance was what my parents put my brother and I in. Piano lessons, all the things that connect us to community and also connect us to that artistic portion of our brain that help us to be able to make connections with life. And so it has really been a wonderful experience being able to just put use my background and I've always been a community giver, and I've always been I say always, but I've been a supporter of Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey for a while prior to becoming the CEO. And it's just it's really been a great experience being able to learn some of those things and being able to engage and use some of those skills to be able to move us forward. So it's I'm a year in. I still pinch myself, and because I still feel like it's a privilege to be able to lead this organization. I'm more energized as ever now that I've had that 1 year of watching, being able to deepen the community relationships, and also in the arts, and getting to learn the staff a little bit more, and so it really is coming full circle. And I'm still very proud to be able to represent the organization.
We're chatting with Tyrone Aiken and Carla Williams Evans with Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey. All right, so I'm going to flip it for a minute. I hope, Tyrone, I'm not putting you on the spot. So you had a CEO who retired, you had two interims, now you got Carla. Can you breathe a sigh of relief? Change is hard. So from your perspective, you've been with the organization just a hot minute. How does it feel now?
Change is hard. But I also think change is necessary. And I think change can also be about renewal. And I think it's great having Carla on board, because there is a certain amount of work that is needed to sustain an organization. And having a CEO like Carla who is interested in moving the organization forward is extremely important. I would say that one of the things about the organization is really someone who can understand its connection to the arts, its connection to youth development, and its connection to sort of community partnership and also community integration. Those are things that are so important, not only what we do, but how we connect to the Kansas City community. Mm-hmm. And Carla brings a lot of those assets with her through the work that she's done in the past, and also how she's able to really look at and reflect on some of the things that we are currently grappling with as an organization, which, as we talked a little bit about, is really focused on sustainability, fund development, sort of where we are going to be housed as an organization. Some of those are sort of big issue pieces, and having someone on board like Carla really helps in thinking through some of those things.
I know we've talked a lot about organization, all that. Now I really want to get to the heart of your organization, and that is the art and youth, et cetera. Tyrone, can you bring us up to speed kind of on the programming that you all are doing at this point and how we can engage?
Sure. So I'm going to say that we just finished our Ailey Camps, talked about Ailey Camps, national model programs that were started by Alvin Ailey and Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey, 1989. Those just wrapped up. We had two. One that was at Paseo Academy. The other was at Gloria Willis Middle School in Kansas. 6 weeks. It's a boot camp. It's about dance. It is about your psychological and social well-being for middle schoolers. So we talk a little bit about bullying and all of those things that young people are dealing with, whether it's suicide, whether it's the human sexuality component. They talk about drugs and alcohol, but it really is talking with social workers about things that young people are grappling with. So it's very relevant. So it's a very important program. We have another program that really is sort of in high school. It's a fine arts academy. It's called Summer Dance. It happens during the summer for 4 weeks. It's in partnership with the Kansas City Public Schools. It is a wonderful program where high school students can receive a fine arts credit, high school credit, for the successful completion of that program. And that program is really about them exploring dance from composition to technique to being able to express who they are. So it's a wonderful program. We have our studio program, which we started when we moved to the 18th and Vine Jazz District, and we moved there in 2007. And that program is a K-12 program for young people, to take class in ballet, modern, jazz, tap. They'll take class. We're adding a point class this year, but it's an opportunity for them to further their dance education and also have some personal development sessions with social workers about those same topics that we talk about at Ailey Camp. So we want them to really connect to the dance, but also connect to how it impacts themselves as an individual, and then how we work in community. We have a partnership with the Kansas City Public Schools and the Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. In Kansas City, the Kansas City Public School Partnership, we're in schools daily, and we're in 5 schools as the instructor, teaching dance to students day in and day out. Very exciting program. We're in our 3rd year with that program. We have another program in Kansas City, Kansas, where we actually get to go into every school building in that district to introduce young people to dance. So those programs both start in the fall or with the school year and are continuing. with that, there's a lot that we do to sort of gear up for our next year. And right now, we have the Ailey Trio that will come in January for a week. They will be in residence in Kansas City. It's 3 dancers from the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. We're really excited because one of those dancers is DeAnthony, and DeAnthony Vaughn was an Ailey camper in Kansas City. He stayed with Ailey Camp, the group, our Ailey After Camp program. He went to study at the Ailey School on scholarship. He then danced 10 years with Dallas Black Dance Theater and then joined the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater 3 years ago. So he'll be coming back to Kansas City to dance with us as a part of the trio. And so that's in January for a week where we go into schools and there's a dynamic performance that they do.
How phenomenal. What a proof point for you all.
It is.
Here's a kid who started here, and
we're really proud of him. We then continue in February with our Setting the Stage program. Setting the Stage is our Black History Month program, and it is a piece that I designed to sort of talk about dance history, starting at the Middle Passage and moving forward. We do a week of presentations in schools, and that is the last week in February in any given year. And we use professionals from Kansas City to make up that piece. There's a program that we are do in partnership with Paseo Academy. It is called the Paseo Project. And we bring in professional teaching artists from around the country to be in residence at Paseo Academy for a 2-week period. They teach dance and also choreograph. We have 3 scheduled this year of very accomplished artists that will be working at Paseo Academy in that project this year. The first will start in December. We have someone coming in February, someone in March, and their culminating performance will be in April. We then have our spring concert that will happen in May. And once that happens, that is a culmination of our studio classes. And as also, we have something called Studio Plus, where you can, as an adult, come and take a modern class or a ballet class or a jazz class. And those are 8-week sessions, both in the fall and the spring. We then have our First Fridays program, which happens monthly. Our next First Friday will be a Vogue class. So if you're wanting to come and learn about voguing, it's a great opportunity. And so that is something that happens each first Friday at 6 p.m. At our studios on the corner of 18th and Woodland in the 18th and Lodge Jazz District. So once we get to May, we then wrap up with that spring concert, and then we're ready to start in June again with our Ailey Camp programs and summer dance. So that takes us through a year of programming. The only piece that I missed was the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater in Ailey 2. This year, Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater will come in March for a school performance and actually 3 public performances in partnership with Harriman Jewell for one of those performances. And then next year, Ailey 2 will return in 27. And so we have 1 year with Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, 2 years with Ailey 2. And then it alternates in that schedule. So we're really excited about those partnerships. We're excited about all the work we're doing in the community. And I want to say that our programming is either very affordable or free. And so you can find out more about our programming at kcfaa.org. But it is, if you want to take class, if you want your youngsters in class, there's a way to do it. And it can be free of charge, and they can have this incredible experience because we really believe in the importance of access and quality and excellence in terms of the work that we do.
And you do a program every year around that.
Yes. Yes.
Your race, diversity.
So our Race, Place, and Diversity program is really to celebrate people, organizations who are actually walking the walk in terms of diversity and inclusion work, which is so vital and so important in our nation. And so This year, we're excited. I'm going to let Carl talk a little bit more about this as well, but we're excited to be presenting two awards, one to Sofit Solutions and the other to the Reverend and Honorable Emmanuel Cleaver, who is also the congressman from the 5th District in Missouri. So we're really excited about that. It is something that we do annually in the fall, and it's a way for the organization to connect to a part of its mission, which is about that idea of community partnerships and developing sort of the diversity that is so important to have meaningful partnership in community. Carla, did you want to say anything more about either of those?
Well, you gave a great summary as to the why we do those things. We want to make sure that Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey shows that there is a commitment here to diversity and equity. And so we want those who we award to know that they are seen, that we see you, we see the impact that you're having on the community. And through this recognition and this award, it's just our way of saying thank you and sharing a little bit of why we do what we do and our commitment to the community and to highlight these individuals. So Sofit Solution is led by and founded by Stephen E. and Rodney Smith. And they're being awarded the community, sort of like the national award and a local. And there are our local community, even though they have an expanded reach outside of the Kansas City area. And then we all know our Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver, and based on how long you know him, then we get confused. We will refer to him as either Mr. or Reverend or friend. And so we're really excited that is happening this year, and we will be at the Starlight Theater on October the 11th. And so right now we're in that campaign of raising tables. So those interested can still buy tickets and sponsorships. And so we're just really, really excited that we're able to recognize these individuals for the work that they do.
We have just a moment left.
Sure.
Carla, where do you see Ailey, Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey, 10 years from now?
10 years. So let's I see it as an organization with continuing to focus on the growth and the expansion into our community. I think it's still going to be an organization that is needed. Our goal is to make sure that the core, we have a solid core. I want that core to get just a little bigger. So no matter where you live in the Kansas City metro area, when you hear Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey, you either know about it, you want to be able to support more, not what can I do for you? It is how can I help, from a question of I don't know you. I want us to be known. I want our reach to expand, that no matter where we go, we will be known. I see us, of course, expanding our reach, as I said, the investing more in our youth and our programs, expanding into outside of the Kansas City, Kansas and the Kansas City, Missouri school districts, that we are expanding across our other counties and areas within the Kansas City metro. I see that we have a stronger partnership with the community, and that helps us to be able to grow our programming, but also be able to fill in the gap with our kids and with our youth, with helping them with academic support, mental health, physical fitness, all those things in the next 10 years. And then just Kansas City, just continue to be that voice of equity in arts and being a voice that promotes diversity and inclusion in the arts. and that we are able to elevate our artists. We're able to I would say have a creative be creative in that space of performances, but also making sure that we remain inclusive and make sure that our community understands that that's what we're doing. And so we're 41 years, in our 41st year. And it's just important that the next 41 years be impactful and beyond, be impactful as one of those staples in the Kansas City area. When individuals come to our city, they want to know more about who we are and what we do and how they can support us.
Well, I have no doubt with the two of you there and your great team that that's going to be the case. And we thank you so much for bringing us up, giving us background, bringing us up to speed, and giving us a look at the future. So all the best to Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on KC Cares. We're produced by Charitable Communications, which is also a nonprofit. This KC Cares segment was brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation, www.kauffman.org. Spread the love. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio and Instagram at KC Cares Online. And don't forget, you can catch us at Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. at ESPN 1510 and 94.5 FM. Thank you for joining us on KC Cares.